Hi, everybody. I'm Beth Ruske here today with Andrea Henning, and we are here to talk about a topic that is very needed more than anything right now, and it's empathetic leadership or empathy in leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a topic we probably could go on for many days talking about this, given what we've been talking about already, Andrea. But I think, let's define what we mean by empathy, right? I heard a great way of putting it is that feeling empathy is when you feel with somebody, which is different from sympathy, where you feel for somebody. So it is a different sense of feeling, but it's about being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. How else would you elaborate on that?
No, I think that really putting yourself into someone else's shoes with the willingness to actually experience what the other is feeling, and not just like with the mind, which would be that I feel for you. Oh, that's a great story. Or oh, I'm so sorry, I feel for you. But really getting into the place to feel with the other, you need to have your heart open to that and being touched by another person, even if they are completely on a different page than you are.
Yeah, we were just talking about this, what feels like what's going on in society today is this, I do me, you do you, right? I'm not going to cross my lane and tell you what to do. You don't tell me what to do, right? So there's this protectionism, it feels more than ever. And I do like that visual of staying in your lane, right? But that doesn't really work, because we're not crossing and we're not bridging to the other side to really seek an understanding or learn more. Well, why are you in this lane? What is it over here that you see?
Exactly. And I think when it's a combination, that understanding why the other is in that lane and is so passionate about it, you can be empathetic and understanding and feeling without necessarily having to abandon your own lane. It is how, what you often use, like how I see it is that, how do you see it? And this investigation going on without making it personal for yourself. Oh, it's about me. No, it's about, let's investigate together, and let also me investigate, why am I in this lane? So this self-empathy is also a huge point there.
You said something earlier that being empathetic doesn't mean I agree.
Yeah.
Being able to put myself in your shoes and feel what you're feeling doesn't mean I agree or that I accept it. It just means that I understand it.
Exactly.
And we see with women, that's a real challenge, because women tend, I'm going to speak in generalizations, a lot of women tend to be more empathetic. And when they are leaders and they're coming from that perspective, people can put different labels on them. And I know in the programs that we have for women leadership, one of the things we hear women say all the time is, I'm very empathetic, but I think that gets in my way. And we would argue that the empathy isn't getting in their way. We would argue that what they do with that empathy is getting in their way.
Exactly. This is something that I often use in coaching, and happens more to women than to men. That they, because they are so understanding, the people they are listening to, they think that it's accepted. Then the understanding with the acceptance. So it needs a next level of clarity to make sure that even if the other person really can feel understood, which is true, doesn't mean that what they request or what they do is acceptable. So it means a new level of clarity. And the positive outcome to that is that when we have both, when we have this integration of empathy and clarity, actually, what are people here, for instance, people who have to lay off from their jobs because they didn't function, something like that, that they say like, I didn't like it, but the way it was communicated was human. So they can then see and embrace even the bad news and go from there because they have been treated with respect inside of that.
Right. Well, there's, it's kind of like tough love. It's like being able to experience something with somebody. And I think what we talk about is right there is where the trouble comes in, because in the experience that we're with someone, if we don't then voice our concerns or voice another perspective or voice the way we feel, if we avoid that tough conversation, we give the impression that we're in alignment and we're in agreement and everything's fine.
Yeah.
So we kind of do it to ourselves. I want to point that out to the women who are watching this. We do this to ourselves.
Yeah.
I remember years ago in a sales training course, they were trying to teach you how to close, a sale. And when you put the proposal out, it was so hilarious. But the one thing that was really quite well received for me anyway was when you put the ask out there, and then the prospective client comes back to you, and they say, "Well, I would like this, or I would like that, or I would like this." What they were telling you to do is not say, "Okay, okay, okay," because a lot of us use "okay" as I hear you, but the person we're saying to is actually thinking we agree, and we're going to give them that. So it's a big surprise at the end of the conversation when we say, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Just like, what? Wait a minute, you just agreed with me. And I think that explanation, has stayed with me forever. And I know I'm very clear when I'm using, even a nod, like if I were taking notes, we're tending to be empathetic and draw that out. But if we don't communicate what our truth is and what we're seeing and what we're feeling in a way that they can hear it, we're actually contributing to the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I had to learn that part. That was my learning curve. And it comes back to what we sometimes also call a healthy integration between the masculine and the feminine, like the healthy traits. It is actually that. It's the empathy with the clarity. It's the empathy with the focus. It's the empathy with a clear intention. It's the empathy for another combined with the empathy for yourself. All good stuff for women to dive into and develop. Yeah.
And so if you're watching this video and you're like, okay, that all sounds great. Like, how do we do that? Well, first of all, we do want you to tell you to trust your instincts, because if you feel you're an empathetic leader, you probably are. Like, if you feel like you don't express a lot of empathy for others, or, in your leadership, we would ask yourself, why not? What's getting in your way from actually being authentic and vulnerable in a way that you can exude that from another. The other thing that we say when we're faced with something that we don't understand or that triggers us, those are even harder, is to really come with curiosity. And to really come at it and be like, wow, that's not what I thought here. I didn't think it was going to go that way. It's kind of like watching a mystery show and seeing the surprise ending. And, sometimes I'll say to my husband, oh, I didn't see that coming, and it's that kind of curiosity and, kind of like gentleness or ease with yourself,
Yeah.
What else, Andrea? What else would you say?
I would say what also always helps is when you have some trusted people that you can share your wonderment and the curious thing that just happened. Like, guess what happened? Like, we do it all the time. And then to a person that doesn't just agree with you.
And you're breaking. You're breaking up a little bit here. Can you restate that?
Yeah. So to have people around you that you can actually share what's happening, like the curious thing that's happening there, and debrief with someone to look at it together. And that needs to be someone who also can be in tough love and can tell you, yeah, you know what, you weren't clear enough here, huh? You nodded too much, or or this is what I can imagine. You gave the other the impression to that, and then look into the mirror there. So that would be just an add-on, like having trusted people around you, where you can actually be yourself and investigate.
Yeah, that's great. And I think I want to just circle back as a third bullet there that would be useful for you, for any of us, is that you do have to have a good confrontation. You know, like come at it like, you know, don't avoid a confrontation, but be willing to have a good confrontation. And one of the best tools, you alluded to it earlier, we both used the phrase, well, as I see it, or we say, well, the way I see it, or we say, you know, I think I have it, not I think, I have a different perspective. Here's how I see it. And when we say those things, we're doing it in a way that is allowing our voice to come into the space, and we're not judging, we're not defending, we're just putting out another perspective that should be considered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Well,
yeah, great conversation, Andrea. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to join us at tiarainternational.com. Check us out. tiararesourcecircle.com is for women everywhere to join, and we will talk to you again.
Yep, we will.